Hi, my name is Dr. Bryan Walsh, faculty member of the Nutrition and Integrated Health Program at Tai Sophia Institute in Laurel, Maryland. If you're a practitioner today, it's guaranteed that you have clients or patients coming in that have fatigue. Now, whether or not they're coming in for fatigue or if it's something else that they're experiencing based on some other symptoms or condition that they have, a lot of people today have what could be called a low energy state or fatigue. Now, on a nutritional, physiological, fundamental basic level, what really is fatigue and what do we do about it? Well, fatigue on a basic level is an inability to make optimal levels of ATP. Now, we've all learned about ATP. It's called adenosine triphosphate. It's considered to be energy for our body. But energy for what? ATP is synthesized from the mitochondria in all the cells of our body in order to make those cells do what those cells do. So if it's a digestive cell, for example, that makes digestive enzymes or maybe hydrochloric acid, those cells use ATP to make that happen. Let's say it's a neuron in the brain. Neurons use ATP in order to do what those particular neurons do. Or maybe it's a hormone secreting cell. That hormone secreting cell, to synthesize and release hormones, again, uses ATP. The less ATP somebody has, not only will their body not function optimally, but they will also then experience things of fatigue. So really then, when you talk nutritionally or physiologically, what can cause deficiencies or suboptimal production of ATP? And there's a lot. One of them obviously is low free T3 or triiodothyronine. Now this, everybody knows that people that have low thyroid hormone or hypothyroidism experience fatigue. It's very common. But if it is low free T3, which is the active free form of thyroid hormone that can get into the cell and exert its metabolic effects, why can free T3 be low? It's not as easy as just having hypothyroidism. For one, it might be the pituitary is not telling the thyroid gland to make thyroid hormone. If the pituitary is working, maybe the thyroid gland itself is not making adequate levels of thyroid hormone. Very common causes of this are either iodine deficiency or the autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's. Let's say someone's pituitary and thyroid work well. Maybe they're not converting T4 into active T3, which can be caused by a number of things like selenium deficiency, as well as things like cytokines, inflammatory chemicals, heavy metals, or those types of things. Let's say those work correctly, but the liver's making too much thyroid-binding globulin, and it's binding onto all the free thyroid hormones so it can't get into the cells. Or let's say all of that works beautifully. If the receptor for free T3 on the nucleus in the cells is not functioning properly, which can be as simple as a vitamin A deficiency, then again, somebody will have low ATP production because of thyroid's impact on the mitochondria of the cells. But that's just one of many possibilities. Another one is glucose. Now, we all know that glucose is the preferred source for cells to start the what's called cellular respiration process, glycolysis, citric acid cycle, and electron transport chain. If somebody can't get glucose into the cell, they will have a hard time, therefore, making ATP. It could be high glucose, for example, somebody who's insulin resistant or maybe pre-diabetic, or it could actually be low glucose, that there's not enough glucose to actually get into the cells, like in reactive hypoglycemia. Both of those can also cause fatigue in our patients and clients today. Reactive oxygen species are basically free radicals, and really this is one of two things. One is our body, or from an outside source, are exposed to too many free radicals. Or maybe we don't have enough antioxidants to actually quench some of those free radicals. In either case, the mitochondria are very sensitive organelles in the cells, and if there's excessive free radical damage or reactive oxygen species, the mitochondria will not function properly and they can't make ATP. Another one is toxicity. Now this one's pretty obvious too. Things like heavy metals or a number of the different pesticides, chemicals, toxins that are found in our environment today, they too can cause damage to the mitochondria, as well as can cause issues, for example, in the citric acid cycle, where certain intermediates or certain pathways are well known to be blocked in making ATP if, for example, certain heavy metals are present. In terms of nutrient deficiency, while we're talking about things like the citric acid cycle, all those biochemical pathways that occur inside of a cell require things like thiamine or B1, riboflavin, niacin, pantothenic acid or B5, lipoic acid, magnesium, CoQ10. Those are all utilized in order to make ATP within our cells. So if somebody has a nutrient deficiency, maybe it's an absorption issue from a gastrointestinal dysfunction, or maybe they're just not ingesting that, or maybe something's blocking it, in any one of these cases, this alone can cause low energy states or fatigue. And this is also well known by the number of people that will take a B vitamin supplement and say that they actually have more energy. Perhaps they were deficient in some of these things in the first place. Other things that can occur are the adrenal glands. Now we know that People that have elevated cortisol will typically be called wired and tired because they're not getting adequate sleep, causing fatigue. People with low cortisol are people that have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning. They can't even mobilize themselves because they just are so tired and wiped out. They too will also have issues usually with glucose metabolism. In addition to that, in causing ATP issues is the immune system. Now, a lot of people have inflammation today. Inflammation will cause a number of things to be released from our immune cells called cytokines, some of them very pro-inflammatory, many of them causing issues in ATP synthesis within the cell itself. And then lastly is anemia. Well, of course, the number one symptom of anemia is fatigue. But in terms of anemia, you can have iron deficiency, could be B12 or folic acid deficiency, could be vitamin B6 deficiency, or it could be excessive breakdown or hemolysis of red blood cells, in which case you just don't have enough hemoglobin to carry oxygen to the cells of your body. And again, oxygen is utilized in the electron transport chain in order to make ATP. So these are who is coming into our offices today. How do we deal with it? Well, you have to first understand all the different possibilities. 2 is you have to understand how to evaluate it. And then 3 is how to actually try to correct physiology nutritionally once you know what's going on. It's not as easy as just taking an energy supplement today. If you like this information and you want to know more about the Tai Sophia programs, we have a 50-credit Master in Science Nutrition and Integrated Health program, as well as if you're already a healthcare practitioner, we have a 15-credit Postmaster's Certificate in Nutrition and Integrated Health. If you want to know information about those, you can click on the link below, or if you'd like to see an expanded version of this particular lecture, either live and in person or via webinar for your group and organization, again, please visit the links below and contact us and we'll be happy to get back to you. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a fantastic day.